Radhe Radhe, Dandava Pranam, Hare Krishna. Welcome to Shri Shri Radha Vino Bihari Mandir, Gopinath Bhavan, Shri Vrindavan Dham. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Panu Gauri Guru Varga ki jai, Patik Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Prem Purushottam Shachinandan Gaur Hari ki jai, Radha Vino Bihari Ju ki jai, Radha Raman Ju ki jai, Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Harinam Sankirtana ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Gaur Bhaktivedanta ki jai, Shri Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. So we will begin with Mangalacharan, page 1 of this book, Shri Gauriya Giti Guccha, Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam.
Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Namine Shri Krishna Lila Katane Sudaksham Avaryamadhurya Gunashcha Yuktam Varam Varendyam Purusham Mahantam Narayanam Tvam Shirasham Namami Tridandinam Bhakta Shiromanim Cha Shri Krishna Padam Jagataika Hrindi Chaitanya Leelamrita Sarasaram Narayanam Tvam Satatam Prapadye Namo Visnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshakarine Namo Vishnupadaya Gaurapreshthaya Bhutale Shri Srimad Bhakti Prajnano Keshava Nityanamine Bhaktivedanta Charitraya Swashritanam Chapani Jivanukhe Sadartaya Shri Rama Premadayine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Namine Shri Varshabharani Devi Daitaya Kripabhaye Krishna Sambandha Vinyano Daine Prabhave Namaha Madhurya Jvala Premadhya Shri Ruparanga Bhaktidan Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Urupanugam Nirudhapa-siddhanta Dvantahārine Namo Gaura-kishorai Sakshat-maya-anyamurtaye Vipralambhara-sambodhe Padam Jayate Namaha Namo Bhakti-vinodaya Satchidanandana-mine Gaura-shakti-swarupaya Rupanugavaraye Gaura-virbhava-bhutestam Nirdesha Sajalapriya Vaisnava Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannathaya Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhubhyaeva cha Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Jayatam Surato Panga Mama Mandam Matevati Matsarvasva Padam Mojo Radha Madana Mohano Vidyam Vrindaranyakapadumadam Srimad Ratnagara Sindhasanastho Shri Shri Radha Shri Govindadev Prishthani Bhisevyamano Smarami Shri Mantra Sarasaram Hiram Shivam Tattatastitaha Karshannenu Svanargopi Gopinatha Shri Stunaha Vrindaye Tulasireve Priyane Keshavasya cha Krishna Bhakti Pradedevi Satyavakti Namo Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupasvarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktavyam Namami Bhaktashaktikam Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Cheto Darpanamarjanam Bhava Mahadavam Vinirvaparam Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadhu Jivanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamrita Shadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Harer Nama Harer Nam Harer Nameva Kevalam Halo Naste Manaste Manaste Gatiram Yatha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Dandava Pranama Vaishnavas. So we'll be beginning with Bhajan for Shri Guru, Jaya Jaya Shri Guru, Prema Kalpataru. And that is on page 29 in the songbook, Shri Gauriya Giti Gucha. If you don't have the songbook, Jiva Pavana Prabhu is there, and he very kindly posts the bhajans in the comment section of the thread. So if you don't have the songbook, then you can just go to the most recent post of Jiva Pavana Prabhu and you can then follow along with us. Jaya Jaya Shri Guru Prema Kalpataru Jaya Jaya Shri Guru Prema Kalpataru Adbhuto Jako Parokara
Baro Krunakoro, Vaisnava Goshai, page 44.
Papa
Shuniyachi sadhumuke mole sarvajan, page 51. Shuniyachi sadhumuke mole sarvajan Shri Rupa Kripayomi Yugalacharana Shuniyachi Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Sad Goswami Prabhu ki jai. Nitai Gunamani Amar, Nitai Gunamani, page 61. And if you don't have a songbook, then just follow the most recent comment of Jiva Pavana Prabhu. He's posting the bhajans in the comments section of the thread, so just scroll to that most recent one and you can follow along with us. Now we're going to call out for the mercy of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. Prati Pavana Sri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya
लोचन बोले मोरा निधान जय नाथ जी लोचन बोले मोरा निधान जय नाथ जी जानिया शूनिया से आत्मघाती हो जानिया शूनिया से आत्मघाती हो एकाय गुणो मणियामा एकाय So today, also, I feel that we should sing Boro Sukyar Kabor Gai in a different tune than we may be accustomed to. So that is on page 164. 164. Boro Shukir Kabor Gai 164 Boro Shukir Kabor Gai Boro Shukir Kabor Gai Boro Shukir Kabor Gai Boro Shukir Kabor Gai Surabi Kunje Tena Mera Haath Khule Che Gurudeva Surabi Kunje Tena Mera Haath Khule Che Gurudeva Boro Mochar Kota Thai Mochar Kota Thai Shraddha Mulya Shuddha Naam Se Haath Dete Bekar Shraddha Mulya Shuddha Naam Se Haath Dete Bekar Jata Bhakta Vrindavashi Bhakta Vrindavashi Adhikari dekhe naam beche galo kashi Adhikari dekhe naam beche galo kashi Jadi naam kinbe bhai Amar sangher chalo Mahajaner kache jai Tumi kinbe Krishna naam Kinbe Krishna naam Tumi kinbe Krishna naam Kinbe Krishna naam Dasturi loi boyami purna habe kaam Dasturi loi boyami purna habe kaam Bolo doya nityananda bolo doya nityananda bolo doya nityananda bolo doya nityananda Shraddha matra loye jayan paramayananda Shraddha matra loye jayan paramayananda Ek baar dekh le chake jai Dekh le chake jai Ek baar dekh le chake jai
চন্দলে দে নাম নিতাই দয়া মোর ভক্তি বিনোদাতি কর ভক্তি বিনোদাতি কর অনিতাই চন্দ্র চরণ বিনায় আর নাহি আশা নিতাই চন্দ্র চরণ বিনা আর নাহি আশয় বড় সুখে কবর গায় বড় সুখে কবর গায় সুরভি কুঞ্জেতে নামের হাত তুলেছে কোলনিকায় সুরভি কুঞ্জেতে নামের হাত তুলেছে কোলনিকায় নিতাই 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 ও নিতাই 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 ও নিতাই 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 ও নিতাই पावन श्री नित्यानंद प्रभु की जय। गौरांग तुम्हें मोरे दया ना छारी हो Page 78. গৌরাঙ্গ তুমি মরে দয়া না ছাড়ি হো গৌরাঙ্গ তুমি মরে দয়া না ছাড়ি হো গৌরাঙ্গ তুমি মরে দয়া না ছাড়ি হো Bandhu Sange Jadi Tava Ranga Parihas, page 124, or whatever Jiva Pavana Prabhu posts. Bandhu Sange Jadi Tava Ranga Parihas. 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 Aake शीति चुरा के भाव कोरोना विश्वास शीति चुरा के भाव कोरोना विश्वास से मूर्ति नयने के हो नाही घरे कीने से मूर्ति नयने के हो नाही घरे कीने संसारी गृहीर जे हो सर्वनाश संसारी गृहीर जे हो संसारी गृहीर जे हो संसारी गृहीर जे हो सर्वनाशाय मोरे मोरो त्रासुताय मोरे मोरो त्रासुताय मोरे मोरो त्रासुताय मोरे मोरो भक्ति देवी पदो भारी जेयो नाको हे संसारी भक्ति देवी पदो भारी जेयो नाको हे संसारी मथुरायो केशी तीर्थो धातेरो सकाश मथुरायो केशी तीर्थो धातेरो सकाश बंधु संगे जदि तव रंग परिहास बंधु संगे जदि तव रंग परिहास ताके अभिलाष 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 बंधु संगे जदि तव रंग परिहास 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 कृष्ण हे 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 श्री कृष्ण कन्हैया लाल की जय। ब्रज जन मन सुखकारी राधे श्याम श्यामा श्याम। Page 350 something.
360 something? 366. And it starts with Braja with a D, D-R-A-J-A, Jana, J-A-N-A, Mana, M-A-N-A. Page 366. If you don't have the songbook, Jiva Pavana Prabhu very kindly posts it in the comment section of the thread, so just scroll to where he is. Shri Radhe Braj Jana Mana Sukhakari Radhe Shyam Shyama Shyama Radhe Braj Jana Mana Sukhakari Radhe Shyam Shyama Shyama Radhe Radhe Braj Jana Mana Sukhakari
श्यामा श्याम राधे 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 ब्रज जन मन सुखकारी राधे श्याम श्यामा श्याम राधे ब्रज जन मन सुखकारी राधे श्याम श्यामा श्याम राधा कृष्ण मिली अवरो गौर रूपयवतारी 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 कीर्तन धर्म प्रचारी राधे श्याम श्यामा श्याम राधे कीर्तन धर्म प्रचारी राधे श्याम श्यामा श्याम राधे 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 ब्रज जन मन सुखकारी राधे श्याम श्यामा श्याम राधे ब्रज जन मन सुखकारी राधे श्याम श्यामा श्याम तुम बिना मेरे और न कोई नाम रूपयवतारी तुम बिना मेरे और न कोई नाम रूपयवतारी चरणन में बलिहारी राधे श्याम श्यामा श्याम राधे चरणन में बलिहारी राधे श्याम श्यामा श्याम राधे नारायण 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 बलिहारी राधे श्याम श्यामा श्याम राधे श्याम श्यामा श्याम राधे नारायण बलिहारी राधे श्याम श्यामा श्याम राधे 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 ब्रज मन सुखकारी राधे श्याम 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 राधे ब्रज मन सुखकारी राधे श्याम 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 हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rupanand Guru Varga ki jai, Shri Nityanand Prabhu ki jai, Sachinandan Gaur Hari ki jai, Radha Vino Bihari Ju ki jai, Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Gaur Bhaktivedanta ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha Ajnanathmirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namah Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayaniti Namine Namah Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam pangam langayate giring yatkripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam. First of all, I offer my Dandavat Pranam thousands of times in the dust of the lotus feet of our beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishta Vishnupad, Astottara Shri Srimad, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. In the same thousands of Dandavat Pranam in the dust of the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Pravishta Vishnupad, Astottara Shri Srimad, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, and to our Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga. And I also offer my Dandava Pranam to all Vaishnavas, past, present, and future, including all of you who are present with us today. My Dandava Pranam. So yesterday, we all celebrated Sri Radhashtami. Some in different parts of the world celebrated it on a different day, but anyhow, for all Gaudiya Vaishnavas, every day is Radhashtami. One thing I was realizing as I was reading through the lectures of my Gurudev, the lectures of Srila Prabhupada, the lectures of Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj, Srila Bhaktivedanta Bharati Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, all of our tattva, all of our siddhanta, all of our endeavor, everything that is mentioned there really culminates in one thing. And it also works like that for Krishna. It all culminates in pointing in the direction of the glories of Srimati Radharani. And it was quite interesting to see it, because I've been speaking almost every day from this book, but also for about 6 months, before March, every single day. And the more that I'm seeing and looking through this, I'm realizing, wait a second, it's all pointing toward her. And this happens also in Sri Vrindavan Dham. And it's kind of not fair, because everything is pointing in the direction of Srimati Radhika when Krishna is searching for her. Everything is pointing in her direction because she's the source, the energy of everything. So, the same in Srimad Bhagavatam. You can read through the entire Srimad Bhagavatam. But all of our Guru Varga coming in Sri Rupa Goswami's line have emphatically declared that Bhagavatam is saturated in every page and every word with the glories of Srimati Radhika. And I'm looking going, but how does Dhruva Maharaj fighting with the Yakshas point at and glorify Srimati Radhika? Our Guru Varga, they see things from a very different perspective than those of us with material eyes. We see the material world and the workings of the material world, and we even superimpose that material vision and the material ideas onto the spiritual subject matters. Whereas they see everything from a holistic or transcendental perspective because they are connected absolutely to the absolute. So I'm not going to say that that verse does not have Srimati Radhika in it, but they see everything in terms of its goal, its focus as well. Like our Gurudev has asked us, who's higher? Prahlad Maharaj or Ambarish Maharaj? Well, we know that Prahlad Maharaj is Siddha. He's eternally situated in his relationship with the Lord in Shanta Prem. But what is Maharaj Ambarish's goal? His mood, his internal mood that he's aspiring for is actually higher than that of Prahlad Maharaj. When it comes to the conception of rasa vichar, from the conception or the discrimination and the conception of rasa, his goal is superior, his goal is higher. So our Gurudev, our Guru Varga, they have explained that all of Bhagavatam is pointing at Srimati Radhika. And so we see different levels of Vaishnavas and devotees and relationships with the Lord all through Srimad Bhagavatam. And Bhagavatam is removing everything which is not focused at the Supreme Lord. And then you see in Bhagavatam how Krishna is talking about different levels of devotees. 3 times the word Haridas is mentioned in Bhagavatam. One for Yudhishthira Maharaj, one for Uddhav, and one for Giriraj, Govardhan. Although there, he's being glorified by the gopis. They're calling him Haridas Avarya, the best of the servants of Hari. But when you look deeply in Srimad Bhagavatam, even though the name of Srimati Radhika is not directly mentioned, maybe you will find it indirectly mentioned, like in the verse, Anaya Radhito Nunyam Bhagavan Harir Ishvara. The question will come, how can we say that she's the topmost if her name's not even in there? So our Gurudev explained that in terms of rasa, or transcendental subject matter, it's much more beautiful, much more tasteful, and much more sweet when something is done indirectly. I remember we were surprised. My brother, he's married to a lady from Vrindavan, from Brajmandal. And when she would refer to her husband, she wouldn't refer to him directly, but she would say the father of my son, or Sanatan Kapitaji. And we were thinking, that's kind of odd. Why didn't she just say my husband? But she was giving this indirect way of saying, this is my husband, by mentioning the father of her own son. So this is actually a cultural thing, which shows in one sense more than just saying my husband. It shows relationship, it shows connection, it shows so many different things. And because the rasa within Vrindavan, the nature of the relationships of the Brajavasis with Krishna is such, sometimes things need to be discussed in a very different kind of way, especially with the gopis. They cannot openly reveal their hearts. Not openly, not publicly. So they have to say what they want to say in so many other ways. They can't just blurt out in front of Mother Yashoda and the cowherd boys and everyone else, I'm in love with Krishna. They can't do that. They have to somehow say it in a different way. So they'll speak about things in a much more indirect way, but through that indirectness, there's so much more sweetness. Like our Gurudev said, and this is kind of strange from a Western mindset, but he said, the moment you say, I love you, it ruins everything. We're like, what? They don't just speak it.
that culture is about showing it. And you don't need to say it. If you say it, it's supposed to weaken it. When you say the name of your husband, it's supposed to shorten his life. So they have all of these, you can say, taboos, which are also there within the hearts of the Brajabasis. And Gurudev said that the gopis' hearts are like jalebis. Jalebis, you know jalebis? Very crooked. So that Krishna cannot navigate or understand properly. Especially Srimati Radhika's. Although she's so simple and straightforward and everything, by her nature, still, in order to increase Krishna's transcendental pleasure infinitely, she makes herself a very complex, so that Krishna is always trying to understand her, always trying to find her angle so that he can work his angle. Please accept me, please, like that. And that is increasing his transcendental eagerness. It's increasing his transcendental eagerness. And she is expert at doing that. So in the same way, Srimad Bhagavatam is there. Yesterday, Sudevi told, who is Srika Goswami? He is the parrot of Srimati Radhika. There's a katha told in one of the ancient Puranas, which is somewhat obscure to find these days, but Vaisnavas like Bhakti Narayan Goswami Maharaj, our Gurudev, and others through history have found this katha in the ancient scriptures, that Srika Goswami is the parrot of Srimati Radhika. Now we have heard this katha of Srika Goswami in the past. What katha? One day Mahadev Shiva was speaking Srimad Bhagavatam to his wife Uma. And as he was speaking Srimad Bhagavatam, he wasn't speaking on the pastimes of Krishna yet, but he was speaking on so much Tattva Siddhant and Tattva Gyan. And for a long time she was trying to stay awake, but she was waiting for the pastimes of Krishna. So she was like, and Lord Shiva was just speaking, flowing and speaking. And his wife was saying, but then she fell asleep. There happened to be a parrot in the tree. And he continued in her voice, because he wanted to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. He continued in her voice saying, do you understand? And after a while, Lord Shiva opened his eyes and saw that she's asleep. Then he's saying, well, then who's saying in her voice if she's asleep? And he started searching, where is that voice coming from? And he saw one green parrot in a green tree. Who was sitting there? Lord Shiva took his trident and started chasing that parrot. Why? Because no unqualified person should hear Srimad Bhagavatam. So he began chasing that parrot. And that parrot was flying as fast as it could to get away from Lord Shiva. Just at that time, Veda Vyas, the compiler of the Vedas, and who manifested Srimad Bhagavatam from Samadhi Bhash, seeing in divine vision all of these pastimes of the Lord. He was speaking Srimad Bhagavatam to his wife, but he was speaking which section? The 10th canto. Section of Krishna's pastimes with the gopis and the Brajabasis. And she was so struck with wonder, so awestruck and so amazed at the beautiful pastimes of Krishna that her eyes were wide open, her mouth was wide open, and she was drinking the nectar of Krishna's pastimes. At that point, that parrot was flying left and right in a zigzag pattern, trying to escape from Lord Shiva. And then he saw her mouth was wide open, right in, and he was hiding inside. And Lord Shiva said, come out! And he wouldn't come out. He said, come out. After some time, Vyasadeva said to Lord Shiva, why do you want him to come out? He said he wasn't qualified and he was listening to Srimad Bhagavatam. He did not have any right, so I have to kill him. Vyasa said to Lord Shiva, what is the result of someone listening to Srimad Bhagavatam? Lord Shiva said, he becomes immortal, but he's not qualified to be. And he said, but he was hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, so how can you kill him? Lord Shiva said, right. So Lord Shiva went back to his place and continued speaking Bhagavatam.
But that bird had entered into the body of the wife of Vyasadeva. It is said that that parrot remained there for quite some time. He didn't want to come out. Vyasadeva was telling him, come out, come out. And he was like, only if you can assure me that I will not be touched by the material energy, that it will not affect me, that I will not see or become attached to anything in this material world. So he remained there for 16 years. And when Vyas gave him assurance of this, immediately he came out, but not looking like a parrot. How did he manifest? You know how Krishna manifested in the jail cell of King Kamsa as a 16-year-old youth with conch shell, disc club, lotus flower, 4 arms, long Vaijanti mala, yellow cloth, crown, no peacock feather at that time. He manifested like that. So in a similar way, this parrot manifested externally in the form of Shukadev Goswami. And Shukadev Goswami at that point was known or considered to be Brahmavadi. Means someone who's completely absorbed in Brahmagyan, not affected or not disrupted by the variations in the material energy in the slightest. As soon as he manifested externally, he began walking toward the forest. And immediately Vyasadeva began calling, oh my son, my son, my son. But Vyasa had already given him assurance he wouldn't be affected by these material relationships. Yang pravrajantam anupetyam apetya krityam dvaipayano viraha kataraya juhava putreti tanmayataya tarabhoginedus tan sarvabhuta hridayam munimanatosmi. This is a prayer said to Shukadev Goswami from Sutta Goswami, glorifying his Gurudev. What is he saying? How he left, completely detached from any material thing. And when Vyas called out, oh my son, only the trees echoed in response. He was that detached from anything. And he continued walking for some long time until he came back in the vicinity of Vyasadeva. But at this time, Vyas was not saying, oh my son. Vyas was speaking the sweet pastimes of Krishna. And from his Brahmagyan, Shukadev became attracted to hearing the sweet pastimes of Krishna. And then he accepted Vyasadeva as his guru, not as his father. Not as his father, as his Gurudev. Like Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada never saw Bhaktivedanta Thakur as his father. He always saw him as my guru and so high, transcendental personality. So Shukadev Goswami, he is originally the parrot of Srimati Radhika. In fact, there is a history where Srimati Radhika and Krishna asked 4 personalities to remain behind to give connection to for the jivas to them. 4 personalities. Does anyone know who they are? What they are? 1, Jamuna Maharani. 1, Giriraj Govardhan. Another, Shuka, Shriya Shuka. If anyone knows the 4th, please post. I can't remember at the moment. But 4 transcendental personalities. Yamuna is not just a river. She is, as Gurudev said, liquid prem. And she can connect our hearts to Krishna. Liquid bhav. And Giriraj Maharaj is not just a mountain. The deepest conception of Giriraj is that Giriraj is like the non-different from the heart of Srimati Radhika. Some would say non-different from Krishna, but the gopis say Haridasa Varya. And our Gurudev, he said Haridasi Varya, because no other male form can enter into those sweet pastimes of Krishna. So his bhav becomes, at that point, feminine. So in all of these circumstances, we see these personalities have the power to connect us, our hearts, to Krishna, and also to increase our prem, our love and affection for Radha and Krishna. So this Shukadev, He's the parrot of Srimati Radhika. Why did he not say her name? I read yesterday, Srila Gurudev explained that even with this verse, Anaya Radhito Nunnam, it was too close. And that created some disturbance in his heart. Why? If he would have said her name, he would have gone into a trance, samadhi-like state, because he was also feeling separation from her. Even just flying from her hand to Krishna's hand, he was feeling, to that vicinity of Krishna, he was feeling so much separation. Why did I leave her? For just such a short time. So at this point in time, from the time Krishna departed to the time just before Srimad Bhagavatam was spoken, so much separation was there. Our Guru Varga have said that if he were to have spoken the name of Srimati Radhika, he would have gone into samadhi for 6 months in transcendental ecstasy. So why could he not say her name directly? Because Parikshit Maharaj only had how many days to live? 7. So if he would have spoken her name directly, he would have been in trance for 6 months, then Parikshit Maharaj would not have been able to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. Another thing is, those persons he was speaking to, they're Mathura Vasis. Parikshit Maharaj is coming in that line, the line of the Yadus. Also Nanda Maharaj and Krishna are Yadu, but they're not from the Kshatriya line, they're from the Vaishya line. Same grandfather of Vasudeva Maharaj and Nanda Maharaj, but the grandmothers were different. The grandmothers, one was Kshatriya, the other one was Vaishya. And so from the Vaishya line came Nanda Maharaj, from the Kshatriya line came Vasudeva Maharaj. And so all of those, Arjuna, Yudhishthira, all of them, they're in that dynasty, in the Kshatriya line. Parikshit Maharaj is in that line. They wanted to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the best thing to hear for the welfare of all. But Shukadev Goswami could not tell them everything, so he had to speak in cryptic ways. That is why it is recommended by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all of our Guru Varga that if you want to understand Srimad Bhagavatam, everything is in sutra form. You know what a sutra is? Sutra means like a code. You know, if you have your passwords and you need to write them down, but you don't want anyone else to see your passwords, so how do you write down your passwords? In code. And so someone who doesn't understand your thought process can't decipher your code. But someone who does understand your thought process can decipher the code. So our Shastras are like that. So if we want to understand Srimad Bhagavatam, then Jaha Bhagavata Para Vaishnavirasthane. Our Guru Varga are code breakers. They understand the code. They can see it. They are knowers of the truth, and they can reveal that truth to us. If we are sincere, if we become qualified through our desperateness and our seva, then they can reveal that code to us. Otherwise, if we're just looking with our material eyes and our material intelligence, we won't understand. For example, I like this example because unless you've heard the story, you won't understand it. Sudevi and I, we have a code. Very simple code. It's this. The second I show her this, she knows exactly what I mean. There's a beautiful experience that she had with Gurudev that has to do with this. And it's a whole story. But if I showed this to anyone else, what would it mean? Why are you showing me your thumbs? So our Shastras are like that. I'm not going to tell the story. That's her story to tell. And you can ask her the next time when she speaks. The point is, so many codes are there. And those with pure vision, they can see all of that. So they see Srimati Radhika everywhere, and everything is pointing to her. Everything is pointing to her. Srila Gurudev said, Shukadev Goswami keeps saying, Vasudev, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that Nanda and Yashoda are like the foster parents of Krishna. He's saying that because it's the Mathura Vasis. And if he didn't say that, they'd become very upset and disturbed. But if he's with the Brajavasis, he could never and would never say that. He would only say that Krishna is the son of Nanda and Yashoda. Gurudev explained this point. So, because he could not take the experience of prem that would have put him into samadhi for 6 months, he could not say her name. But if you look everywhere, it's all pointing to her. Who is the greatest devotee? Whose foot dust is sought after more than anyone? Again and again, this idea is brought about in Srimad Bhagavatam. Prahlad Maharaj tells his father Hiranyakashipu, unless you bathe yourself in the feet of the pure devotees, you will never understand spiritual subject matter. You must roll in that dust. Binam Mahatpad Rajobhishekam. And also Rahugana, Maharaj Rahugana, can't remember the verse at the moment, but there he's also saying the same thing. Unless one smears himself in the foot dust of the devotees, they cannot understand transcendental subject matter. And everything in Srimad Bhagavatam is pointing to the foot dust of that one particular gopi. That one. Even that person who is the deepest, dearest to Krishna, more than its own soul, is begging for just one particle of that dust. One particle of the dust from the feet of that particular gopi. Not just any gopi. The gopi of all gopis. Sarva Lakshmi Mai, the source. The supreme gopi, the original gopi, that is Sri Radha Thakurani. So all Bhagavatam is pointing to that. And by her mercy, even how Krishna, he becomes desperate. It's there. It's all there. You can read it from Srila Prabhupada. If you search, you will find it. That's why I posted a few quotes from Prabhupada yesterday. I'm like, really? Prabhupada is saying these things. Wait a second. And so is my Gurudev, and so is Srila Gauragovinda Maharaj, and so is Srila Sridhar Maharaj, and so is Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, and so is Bhaktivedanta Thakur, so is Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Narottam Das Thakur, Rup Goswami, all of our Goswamis, all of our Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Varga have established this same ideal as our goal, and even as Krishna's goal. That Krishna simply becomes a plaything in the hands of the gopis, and in Vrindavan is considered simply as the decoration of Radharani. Yes, Prabhupada wrote that. It was quite shocking for me to read it from him, because he is also of that mood. He's also of that mood. He said, we are Rupanugas. So they have that understanding. This is the mood of Vrindavan. Srimati Radhika Harit Bhakti Kamal Govinda Maharaj, he would say, the center of the universe, the capital of the universe is Sri Vrindavan Dham. And who is the queen of Vrindavan? Srimati Radhika. She is the queen of Vrindavan. So she is the queen of everything. Vrindavaneshwari. Not only that, yesterday we sang this Radha Kripkataksha Stavaraja Munindra Vrindavandite Triloka Shokaharini Prasanna Bhakta Pankajaini Kunjabu Vilasini. Near the end, our Gurudev always wanted us, even if we didn't sing the whole thing, if we sang Namami Nanda Nandanam, and we didn't have time to sing the entire Radha Kripakataksha Stavaraja, he would have us go into Makeshwari, Kriyeshwari, Swadheshwari, Sureshwari, Triveda Bharatishwari, Pramana Sashaneshwari, Rameshwari, Shameshwari, Pramoda Kananeshwari, Rajeshwari, Vrajadipe, Shri Radhike Namostute. If you see that, it means she is literally the Ishvari, or the supreme controller of everything. Everything including Kananeshwari. Kana Ishvari. She is also the controller of Krishna. She controls him with love and affection. She controls him completely. So much so that he becomes desperate to taste what she's experiencing. So completely that he what is that verse? Veinum karam nipatitam skalitam shikandam. Because love controls everything, and she is Mahabhava Swarupatam. She is the form of that highest love and affection. Because she has completely dedicated everything, more than anyone else. She is the personification of complete dedication, complete surrender. To such an extent, Krishna can only endeavor to reciprocate. But that means that he must also completely sell himself, because he's trying to reciprocate. So as much as he tries, as Sudevi said yesterday, she is like this spotless mirror. So he tries, but it's doubled immediately. And he expands, and it's expanded double forever. So he can never repay. So he becomes subservient. And that is the speciality of Vrindavan, where Krishna cannot control, but he is controlled by the love and affection of the Brajabasis, especially the Brajagopis, and especially the supreme, topmost Gopi, Vrishabhananandini, Srimati Radhika. So I just wanted to add a little bit of that from a continuation from yesterday. Looks like we have a question here. When we hear about rolling in the dust of the lotus feet of the pure Vaishnava, is this literal? If we had that opportunity, would it be appropriate to do so if others were not seeing? Did you and Sudevi ever roll in the dust of Gurudev's lotus feet? It is literal, and it is also, what's the other word, Sudevi? It has many different meanings, dust, this foot dust. 3 substances are extremely powerful, Mahaprabhu says. Bhakta pada dhuli, the dust from the lotus feet of the Vaishnavas. Ar bhakta pada jal, the water which has washed their lotus feet. Bhakta bhukta avashesh, the remnants of their foodstuffs. 18 mahabal. These 3 substances are so powerful. Our Gurudev said that even if you've lost your inspiration on the path of bhakti, just taking advantage of these substances, it can reverse your unwillingness. Yeah, I was falling asleep when he was telling that part of the class. And when he said that, even if you've lost your inspiration and you have no inclination, this is so powerful, it can help. I woke up, I'm like, okay, he's talking to me. So, yes, literal foot dust. And it also means the instructions of Gurudev. What they want to give. Like once one devotee was touching the feet of our Gurudev in every location we went to on parikrama. Same person touching. And he said, once a day is enough. He said, you should try to touch my heart. And what is the heart of Guru? It's Krishna and all of the pastimes of Krishna. Really, how do you touch the heart of Guru? By receiving what Guru wants to give. He wants to give Krishna in the form of his name, form, qualities, and forms, qualities and pastimes. To receive and to act upon what we have received. This is also taking shelter of that foot dust. Also, Mahaprabhu says, Kripaya tava pada pankajastita dhuli. He's praying to Krishna, please keep me as a particle of dust on your lotus feet. So who are the particles of dust on the lotus feet of Sri Guru? Those disciples who are truly endeavoring to follow the order, the instruction, to imbibe the moods of Sri Gurudev and to represent those. To take association from those personalities, like Ramanuja did. He didn't just accept the position of Acharya of the Sri Sampradaya. He was the one who discovered his Gurudev with 3 fingers in like this. And he asked them, why is it like that? And they said, we don't know. Immediately he sat down and he made 3 vows. And each time he made a vow, one of those fingers opened up. And everyone realized this Ramanuja, the new boy, is the next Acharya. He understood the inner heart's desire of our Gurudev and made a vow to fulfill them. One was he would take sannyas. The other one, he would write a commentary on Vedanta Sutra. And the other one is that he would preach bhakti all over. So they all agreed, you are the next Acharya. But he didn't say, yeah, I'm the next Acharya. He felt, I have no qualification for this. So what did he do? He went and took shelter of all of the senior Vaishnavas, all of those disciples of his Gurudev, who were serving for years and years and who had received so much, to learn from them about his Gurudev and the teachings of his Gurudev. And only after that, some years, of associating with all of these Vaishnavas and serving them, then he accepted the position of Acharya. So in this case, also, the dust of the feet means the disciples. And it doesn't mean anybody who just received initiation. This is something that we should not misunderstand. Trust me, there are so many disciples of so many pure gurus who are called disciples who aren't acting within the discipline of their Gurudev. Srila Gurudev Maharaj, he said, what is disciple? Disciple is one who places himself voluntarily in a position where severe discipline will be inflicted upon them by their guru. That means remaining within the conception, the teachings, the practices, the moods, and representing those teachings and conceptions and moods of their Gurudev, as it is, without adulteration, twisting, or anything like that. This means being in the discipline of Gurudev. So many claim to be disciples. One time we were in one location and Gurudev gave some japamala and some neck beads and Harinam, Mahamantra, to one lady. And Sudevi mentioned to our Gurudev in the afternoon, oh yes, this disciple of yours. He said, which disciple? And she said, the one you gave Harinam to in the morning. And he said, oh, she's not my disciple. I'm just trying to help her a little bit. And there was another case where there was someone else. And we said, your disciples. In Vrindavan, there was he said, they're not my disciples. They're just using my disciples to make money. And yet he gave them Harinam. So just because someone receives Harinam and even Diksha Mantra, if they're not accepting the discipline, the teaching, and trying to serve and follow, then Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj, he says, one cannot consider themselves a disciple. So this is actually something I think that can teach humility. If I really search myself, am I a disciple? No, but I hope one day that I may be able to become a disciple of my Gurudev. And one of the ways that I can become a disciple is to associate with those who are truly within the discipline, who are the disciples of my Gurudev. Then I might be able to learn to develop and become more disciplined in the moods, in the conceptions of my Gurudev, and follow them with endeavor to please him. So, with your question, yes, this dust literally means their foot dust. And have we ever rolled in the foot dust of Gurudev? We have definitely placed our heads in that place. Rolled there, I don't remember, except my very first personal connection with Srila Gurudev in 1996 in Navadvip. This is before he traveled to the West. As all of the devotees were offering pranam to him, one after another, we were getting ready to leave. And I saw something quite interesting that I had not seen. In ISKCON, we were kind of told not to touch the feet of the gurus because, well, you might give them your karma. Because if you touch someone's feet, it says there's a transference of karma. And if you give them your karma, they might become sick. So we didn't do that. But I noticed that everyone was touching Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaja's feet as they were about to leave. And even as they were coming, I was like, what? They're touching the sannyasi's feet? Oh, what's going on here? And so as everyone was leaving, they were offering pranam, touching his feet and then going. So the next one after that, they touched his feet, they put their head on his feet, and I was just watching it all very interestingly, thinking, what's this all about? And then it started getting a little bit more. As each person was going, it was becoming more and more obvious that there was more endeavor for the feet. So the one who went before me was a very, very large Indian lady, and she didn't seem to hold anything back. She put her head on his feet and literally started rubbing her head on his feet. And I was thinking, I guess I'm supposed to do that too. I'm next. So that was my turn, and I said, why not? So I put my head on his feet and started doing that. And, at that moment, it just felt like I was like a little puppy, I'm just like, so excited and putting my head on his feet, and I didn't know that there would be any effect of that, but within a very short time, he came to the West. He claimed my wife first, then he claimed me, then we came to Kartik and Vrindavan, and hopefully we've been receiving the dust of his feet ever since. So there's so many meanings to foot dust. Oh, thank you, Jiva Pavana Prabhu, for posting all of those beautiful quotes about the taking shelter of the lotus feet and foot dust. We should not annoy the pure devotees like mosquitoes. Gurudev said association doesn't mean being like a mosquito. You know that sound? And then they come here and they're trying to sleep and just hovering around all night, speaking all kinds of nonsense, or trying to engage the Guru in their service, doing so many things. This is not considered association. Even touching the feet 100 times a day. This can also be an annoyance. We should see what is favorable to Gurudev, what is for the happiness, for the benefit of Gurudev, and engage in the service of Gurudev. And really this is for our benefit, because Gurudev doesn't need or want anything from us for himself or herself. Sri Guru wants to engage everything in the service of Krishna, but this is our process. This is the process ordained by Krishna. Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. So the foot dust, or serving the feet, means so many things. It means literal dust, it means disciple dust, it means instructions dust, it means so many things. It also means all of the moods and conceptions of Gurudev, that I should roll in that, I should bathe in that. If we're just bathing in the physical dust, but not trying to take really the mood or the essence of Gurudev, then Gurudev won't be satisfied with that either. We should see what is pleasing, what is beneficial, and what is satisfying. And this would bring us to this proper mood. Anukulyena Krishna Anushilanam. Gurudev said in this definition of bhakti, Anyabilashita Shunyam, we should first and foremost practice it wholly and totally at the lotus feet of Sri Guru. So for us it would be Anukulyena Guru Krishna Anushilanam, because Guru Krishna is the first form of Krishna in our lives. So we practice that. What is favorable for my Gurudev? What is pleasing for Gurudev? What is beneficial for my Gurudev? And then from that we can learn how to serve, how to surrender. And Gurudev will take that and qualify it and then make it suitable for offering at the lotus feet of Sri Sri Radha and Krishna, that we should be able to serve them one day. So, time is going. I wanted to... Dandavat Pranam, Raghavindu Prabhu. I wanted to continue a little bit of going beyond Vaikuntha. Also, what I realized about this book is it's also focusing on the glories of Srimati Radhika, because all of the rasas are also manifesting from her. From the Adi Rasa, the original rasa, all other rasas are there. They're supports for that rasa. Vatsalya Rasa is a support for Madhurya Rasa. Sakya Rasa is a support for Madhurya Rasa. Especially Parakiya Bhav, this mood which increases Krishna's transcendental pleasure and happiness. They're all supports for that, and they're all aiming and focusing at that. You see that Madhya Yashoda is trying to stop Krishna from going out, but he needs to go out. So he has his friends and his calves to help him go out. So this Sakya Rasa is helping him break away from the bonds of Vatsalya Prem, so that he can go out. And then after lunch, when everyone falls asleep, he also escapes. So it's his way to move from home to out in the forest to escape from his friends. And where does he go in the midday pastimes? Radha Kunda. What happens in Radha Kunda? This is the beautiful pastimes of Radha and Krishna and her Svapaksha gopis. Very intimate pastimes, very sweet pastimes. So Krishna's
Yogamaya is making all of these arrangements, but the Vatsalya praying, which is holding it back, this tension, this is the realm of rasa. When something is really easy, there's not much taste in it. It's nice, it's easy, but it's not so exciting. But when it's difficult, Krishna has to break away from the bonds of Vatsalya praying. How difficult is that? When Mother Yashoda bound him, Gurudev said, no one could untie. Even Baladev could not untie because Mother Yashoda's Vatsalya praying is actually stronger than Sakya praying. So none of the cowherd boys could have untied Krishna. But then when it came to the idea of the gopis untying Krishna, you know what Gurudev said? Just with their eyes, they could have burnt that rope to ashes. If Srimati Radhika binds Krishna, no one can untie him. And he is permanently bound by her. Therefore, we say, in this Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite Gokula Tarani Mandala Mahite Damodara Rati Vardhana Veshe. Generally we hear of Yashoda Damodar. This is Krishna, young Krishna, who is bound by the ropes of Mother Yashoda's love. But when he grows up, he's not known as Yashoda Damodar anymore, he's known as Radha Damodar. Radha Damodar means bound by the ropes of the love of Srimati Radhika. This binding, who can untie? So he is forever completely captured in the core of her heart. Not only can he not escape, he doesn't want to escape. He always wants to be in that place. So before before going beyond Vaikuntha, we will pray to our Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, and Sri Sanatan Goswamipada in the words of Raghunath Das Goswami, Vairaga Juga Bhakti Rasam Prayatna Apayana Mam Anubhikshamandam Kripam Budiryaparatu Kuduki Sanatanasvam Prabhu Ashrayami, praying in the dust of their lotus feet that may even a particle of their moods, which are present within these pages, manifest within our hearts. So I was telling that Gop Kumar is the focus of this journey. His final goal is Sakya Ras. But still, for us, this is an example. It's showing that we need to establish our goal if we don't want to waste time and get trapped and stuck in so many different ways. But really the goal of this, it's written by Sanatan Goswami, who is Lavanga Manjari, an intimate maidservant of Srimati Radhika. It is written by him. So he's not trying to encourage us to move along the path of Sakya Ras, but he's giving this as an example, but also showing that all of this is leading in that direction. The direction of supporting, assisting, and aiding the transcendental love, the Adiras, the original rasa of Shri Shri Radha and Krishna. So next, I just want to finish read the last paragraph from before. By Yogamaya's mercy, Gopkumar emerged, by Mahamaya's mercy. This is, I don't want to read too much past this. This was quite interesting. Mahamaya asked Gopkumar, what do you desire? If you desire bhakti, then I will give you bhakti. Do you want material facility and material enjoyment? Then I'll give you all material happiness. I can give you everything, including bhakti, because I am the sister of Bhagavan. I will give you whatever you desire. So by her mercy, Gopkumar emerged from there and again returned to the earth planet. Does anyone know why he returned to the earth planet? Because only from the human form can one engage in bhajan, the activities of bhakti, to awaken perfection, prema. So he came back to the earth planet, otherwise it is not possible to come out of there. This was the last covering of the material universe. By our own effort, it is not possible to overcome our illusion, and we just simply become more entrapped. So we cannot by our own power overcome illusion.
To think so is illusion in itself. We should follow the process as given by Hari Guru Vaishnava Shastra. What does it say? Pratamam tu gurum pujam, ado guru parashray, Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma. Through the process of submittance and surrender at the lotus feet of Shri Guru, then it is possible, otherwise not. On my own, I don't have that strength. I cannot extract myself from the burning well of Maya on my own strength, by my own power. I am dependent. Therefore, we should fully depend on the grace of the Vaishnavas, the spiritual master, and Bhagavan, and we should not try on our own to escape this entrapment. Because Maya is a devotee of Krishna, we can approach her in different ways. If we approach Maya with a mood that I want to enjoy this material world, she will provide that. But we can also approach her in a mood that she is a devotee of the Lord. And she's also feeling ashamed at the service she has to do, which is to delude the jivas of this world. So instead of engaging her in Mayic activities, we also have heard something. We have heard about Krishna. We have heard Harikatha. We can also share what we've heard from our Gurudev. Look at Haridas Thakur. Maya Devi herself came to distract him. But he would, instead of being distracted, he gave her Harinam. He shared with her Krishna. And this pleased her heart to hear about Krishna, who is her own beloved Lord. So instead of engaging her in that pursuit, which she really doesn't want to do, but kind of has to do, we can share with her about Krishna. Maya is very, very tricky. One devotee today wrote something interesting. He said the greatest trap of Maya is that we have to wear masks. He said it is fear. Bhayam vidya viniveshatasya. It is fear. And that we have to wear masks and we're being cheated in everything. And I was thinking about it, There's people that wear masks, but then there are people who are so afraid of wearing masks that instead of preaching about Krishna, they're just preaching against wearing masks. They forgot about Krishna. And it's fear coming from the other side. How tricky is Maya? One is afraid of a virus and the other one is afraid of 5G, lasers coming from outer space and starting fires, demons in positions of power, microchips coming through injections, and everything else under the sun that anyone could possibly suggest. It will become big in a moment. That is also stemming from fear. And there's really only one way to remove all of it. Bhayam dvitiya viniveshatasya isharapeyasya viparyeyo smriti. All of these things, it's all just different forms of illusion. Tan maya yato buddha avajitvam bhaktyayika yesham Gurudeva tatma. To become completely surrendered and submitted at the lotus feet of Sri Guru. Completely saturated in the moods, the conceptions, the teachings of Sri Guru. That means always speaking about Krishna. Always speaking about subjects of Krishna. Always remembering and chanting the holy names of Krishna. And not becoming involved in all of this mundane thing. There's nothing we can do about it anyway. Not materially, but spiritually, the ultimate anti-pollution, anti-sound vibration of the material energy, the ultimate anti-pollution for all of that nonsense, which completely removes the blazing forest fire of material existence. Bhava mahadavagni nirvapanam. What is that? Param vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. That is the glories, chanting the glories of Krishna's names, forms, qualities, and pastimes. And it doesn't only have to be done in the streets. It can be done from your home, at home, also via Facebook and Zoom and Twitter and Google and YouTube and whatever. It can also be done that way. Normally, when we travel around the world, we connect with 30 to 50 devotees at a time for a period of 4 or 5 days. Then we go to another location, we connect with 30 to 50 for 4 or 5 days, like that, and it's been that way for 19 years. This year, we're kind of trapped in Vrindavan, in a nice temple with the most beautiful Thakurji in the entire world, Shri Shri Radha Vino Bihari Sachinandan Gaura Hari. And from the modern convenience of modern media, we're able to connect to all of those same personalities every single day, all over the world, all at the same time. So is it being limited or is it being expanded? If we think that, oh, now because of this situation we can't chant, we can't pray, we can't share about Krishna, this is just Maya coming to us in a different way. So instead of sharing about Krishna, let's share about all of the other nonsense of this world. No. Now's the time when everyone is really beginning to look inside. What's going on? What's the truth? There's only one truth. That's Krishna and Srimati Radhika. Parasatya, Satyam Param Dhimahi. I meditate on that absolute truth. Gurudev said everything else is false. All material ideas of truth, this truth, that truth, this false, that false, all lies. Dharma projita kaitava paramo nirmatsaranam satam. Bhagavatam cuts all of it. So Maya is very tricky. She will come from one angle and say, wear masks. And then she'll come from the other angle and say, masks, the whole thing is a hoax. And people will become absorbed in both ideas and forget Krishna. Bhagavatam cuts all of that. This fake truth, that fake truth, whatever, and establishes Bhagavat Dharma. Let's think about Krishna. Let's talk about Krishna. Let's remember Krishna. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam. Using everything in remembrance of Krishna. Everything else is bindings of karma. It all has its base in the temporary relationships of this world, which are all considered false. Maybe the substances are real, but the ideas of these relationships and the bindings of these relationships are all false. Krishna is real. Srimati Radhika is real. Bhakti is real. The jiva is real. And the nature of the jiva is love and affection, relationship with Krishna, that is real. And all other things are distractions. Distractions from our goal. And Krishna says that little bit of distraction can fully pull away even an advanced person into the realm of illusion. So instead of, it's difficult to not be tricked by Maya. Maya is very tricky, but we can try to offer her something. Offer her some prasad, some mercy. Oh Maya Devi, I know you're here. I know you're so powerful. Raghunath Das Goswami does it with his mind. Oh my dear brother mind, you are so powerful, you are so great, you are so strong, you are so controlling. So I'm taking shelter of your 2 lotus feet and holding them to my heart. Please be merciful to me. So he's approaching his mind like this. And then he said to his mind, oh my dear brother mind, you should please help me to do something. What? Remember the lotus feet of Sri Guru. Remember the Vaishnavas, remember the Brajabasis. Guru, Goshte, Goshtalesu, Sujane. Remember the Brahmanas. Bhusuragane, Swamantre, remember your Harinam. Swamantre, your mantras, your Diksha mantras. Sri Namni, remember your Harinam. Vrajanu Yuvadvan Vasharane, remember the lotus feet of Shri Radha and Krishna and surrender to them. Help me to do these things. Sada Dambam Hitva. Please give up your false pride. He's actually talking to his mind. Shri Mana Shiksha, instructions to the mind. Kururatim apurvamatitaram. Develop unprecedented love and affection for the lotus feet of Sri Sri Radha and Krishna. My dear brother mind, please be merciful to me. But He's using reverse psychology on his mind. We can do the same thing with Maya. Now, Prabhupada told the devotees, you know the difference between you and me? The devotees were like, what? Prabhupada said, I am afraid of Maya. Maya, what's Maya? One devotee once I dare Maya. He said, I dare Maya to take me away from the lotus feet of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. And sure enough, very quickly, very soon, disappeared. One should have a very healthy respect for Maya. We can share with Maya, who is a devotee of Krishna, share some Harikatha, share something, give some prasadam, some mercy, some remembrance of Krishna. Because she's a devotee of Krishna, she can give us bhakti. Here, she's telling Gopkumar, I can give you bhakti or I can give you anything you want in this material world. Giriraj Maharaj can do the same thing. What do we want? Sarva Vishva Pradata. You can have millions of wishes of this material world and he can fulfill all of them. Or he can give you a place at his lotus feet where you will always behold the beautiful pastimes of Radha and Krishna and enter into their service. What do you want? All of our acharyas can do this too. Maya Devi also. What do you want? Do you want Krishna? You want bhakti? Or do you want all of this? Srila Govinda Maharaj called it like a light show. Do you want all of these beautiful glittering lights? This illusion, really it's a fire and you're like a moth flying into it. Is that what you want? Or do you want the service of Krishna? So we can pray to Maya Devi. We can share something and also pray to her. Please be merciful to me. Please help me to awaken love and affection for Krishna. She was giving Gopkumar a choice here. If we look deep at it, we can say, wow, wait a second. She can give bhakti? Maya can give bhakti? Okay, I will pray to her for that. Please don't give me these other things. Don't see my other stuff. Please see the deepest necessity of my Atma. Look beyond all of this external material thing. Please see my real essential necessity and help me to attain that. So now I'm going over and I haven't even read much. So therefore we should depend fully on the grace of the Vaishnavas, the spiritual master, and Bhagavan, and we should not try on our own to escape this entrapment. That's another thing. If we are maintaining the association of and service of Guru, Vaishnava, Bhagavan, if we're maintaining their association, especially the devotees of the Lord, then they can protect us even from our own unwillingness by engaging us in service. But we need to submit ourselves. They can engage us so fully that we won't have the energy or the time to engage it in Mayic activities. We'll have to be so fully engaged in Krishna Sangsar. Now we're engaged in Maya Sangsar. And Chaitanya Charitamrita states, being captured by Maya, Deva Maya Tare, Deya Sangsara Juk, we are experiencing so much suffering in this Sangsar. It's not just the repetition of birth and death, but all of the things that we have to endure on a daily basis in terms of our material lives. What we consider so important. I used to work in Fiji. We were managing a 300-acre farm. And I had about 150 of it planted with kava kava and taro root dalo. And those were our two main cash crops. And actually the only cash crops we had. And we had a vegetable garden in front of the house. And I had 10 people working for me. I was brought there, can you help to manage? And this was after we came to Gurudev. So this was after 1 year being with Gurudev, I think. And yes, we went to Fiji. We were there for 2.5 years. Every day getting up, having to work really hard with so many people, trying to motivate them to just do the right thing was enough in itself. Sudevi had to fire them a couple of times. They threatened me physically with machetes. Like a lot of stuff was going on. I was up all day and all night. Every hour I would have my alarm set. I would have to wake up, go throw logs in the fire to dry those crops. And I was becoming emaciated, sick, exhausted. This was Maya Sangsar. And it was the most physically beautiful place in the world. And sometimes Sudevi would go with me hiking in the mountains, and she was looking at it going, oh my God, that lizard is trying to eat that bug and it's alive. And that animal is trying to eat the lizard and it's alive. And this plant, which is growing a mile a minute, is trying to choke the life out of that plant. Every living entity was food for another. And she just looked at it and thought, oh my God. She said, beauty is only tree deep. And I was looking at it from a different perspective. Instead of just enjoying the view, I even couldn't enjoy the view. Why? I was digging holes with my back to the most beautiful view in the world. But because it was on a slope, I had to face the slope to dig the holes. I thought, what kind of life is this? Most beautiful view in the world, and I've got my back to it and just struggling, digging holes all day for planting these crops so that I can make enough money to recycle back into the crops. We could barely give Gurudeva a $50 donation without being like that. Maya Sangsar. All day, all night, and no association with Vaishnavas. And then Gurudev took us and said, okay, now, Krishna Sangsar. And he just said, I don't want you in Fiji. I want you traveling and preaching. And we're like, he said, I don't want you to have jobs in this world. Go. And we were like, 25, mid-20s, very young. We didn't know anything. He said, what you know now, go and preach. We're like, And he just threw us into the deep end. Krishna Sangsar. Sometimes it's physically exhausting, but here, heart-wise, and service to Gurudev, spiritually exhilarating. More and more exciting, more and more, just more and more. Bhaktivedanta Thakur says, Krishnera sangsara koro, chari anachar, jive doya, Krishna nam, sarva dharma sar. What is the essence of all religion, all dharma? He's saying, enter into Krishna sangsar. Absorb your mind, savai manak Krishna pararavinda, everything in Krishna. Your mind, your body, your words, your energy, your hands, your eyes, your nose, everything in Krishna. Your soul, your Atma. Absorb everything in the service of Krishna. Krishnera Samsar. No one said that Krishnera Samsar isn't busy. Oh, it's busy, but it's nectar busy. Bees are busy, always collecting nectar. It's different. You can collect exhaustion, you can collect suffering, or you can collect nectar and happiness. So, Krishna Sangsar. If Ateva Maya Tare Deya Sangsara Duk, if the material world is being entrapped by Maya and experiencing suffering in Samsar, then Krishna Sangsar would be exactly the opposite. You're being entrapped by Yoga Maya, which means everything will be about serving Krishna, which is the nature of your Atma, and as a natural result of that, in that transcendental entrapment, drowning in the ocean of prema, one will also be bound, but it's a different kind of bondage. It's the bondage of nectar, the bondage of love, the bondage of prema. And what is the result? Not Deya Sangsara Duk, but in Krishna Sangsar, there will be Sangsara Sukh. Huh? Krishnera Sangsara. There's another prayer by Bhaktivedanta Thakur in this bhajan, Bol Hari Bol. Sukhe Thakur, Dukhe Thakur. Oh, in every situation you should always chant the holy names of the Lord. But in Krishna Sangsar, there should only be happiness, excitement, a feeling of a fire burning in greed. I want to run on that. Krishnera Sangsara Koro Chari Anachar. Give up all of your sinful activities and everything unfavorable for Krishna Bhakti. Jive Doya. Give mercy to the jivas. How? Not by telling them about all this other nonsense stuff. Share with them the real remedy. Krishna Nam. The glories of Krishna's names, forms, qualities, and pastimes. This is how we can give mercy to the jivas. All of that other stuff will only keep us bound in this samsar, the duk, the suffering samsar. But if we give the message of Krishna, this is the para upakar, the greatest welfare work. Instead of talking about all of this other nonsense, we can share Krishna. Who cares who wears a mask or not? We're all wearing masks. We all think we're these bodies. And then we wear another mask and another one since time without beginning. Who cares? All of that is nonsense. My soul is an eternal servant of Krishna. If I want my soul to be happy forever, then I should serve Krishna. Make Krishna happy. Then naturally this soul will also be happy. And not only this soul, every other soul in the vicinity. Naturally. All of the other stuff is nonsense. Krishna is true. Krishna is beautiful. Jive doya. Give mercy to the jivas. Share Krishna. Share Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. We have received so much knowledge, so much information about Krishna's names, forms, qualities, and pastimes. Jive doya. Be merciful to these jivas. They're suffering because of want, of lack of knowledge of Krishna. But Prahlad said everyone is searching for their dearmost friend, and that dearmost friend is Krishna. They just don't know it. And because of that, they're suffering in samsara. So Vaishnavas have this capacity to give mercy because we have something. We have knowledge. Jive doya, Krishna Nam. We know about the holy names of Krishna. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rupanuga Guru Varga ki jai, Gaura Bhaktivedanta ki jai, Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Shri Sridhar Gaur Premanande Hari Shri Gurudev ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Rupanand Guruvarga ki jai, Gaur Bhaktivedanta ki jai, Radha Vinod Hari ki jai, Sachinanda Gaur Hari ki jai, Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Hari Ram Sankirtan ki jai, Hare Krishna ki jai, Gaur Bhaktivedanta ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Govinda So thank you all very much for being with us, for giving us the opportunity of remembering the beautiful teachings of our Gurudev and our Guru Varga. Yes, Sudevi is okay.
I'm okay, I just needed a little rest. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and also for engaging us in our Guru Seva, for which we are very indebted to all of you. We look forward to being with you tomorrow. Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna, Radhe
Radhe
Radhe.
Dandavat Pranam Vaisnavas.